In our sister station, Spice FM, this morning.
Bill of 2019, he cited the BBI and he asked Chebukati, what does verification actually mean? Okay? If you are verifying data of supporters, remember we are supposed to give a supporter list, then copies of IDs. What we told the judge, and he agreed with us, first of all, nobody, and you guys are journalists, I mean, you are good guys out there, no one, no single presidential candidate photocopied a single ID of any Kenyan. None. So the so-called, the supposed photocopy of IDs, which we question and we asked Chebukati, bring them. In fact, today we are in court at 3 p.m. where we have asked Chebukati, bring the photocopies of all those ID documents and the supporter list of the guys you have nominated. Let's do a court-sponsored scrutiny. Yeah, Latif, I'm not a prophet of doom, neither am I the son of one, but I assure you, the IDs and the supporter list will never match because nobody went to look for. First of all, it's impractical. You know, if you ask me to go, I don't know, whatever your rural villages are, but if you ask me to go to Kapedo, where I come from, definitely I will have to carry with me a generator, a photocopier, cartridges, or alternatively, I'll have to collect IDs of individuals, go either to a cyber cafe, photocopy them, and then bring them back.
Yes.
Nobody did that.
Are you saying fellow lawyers, David Moore Waihiga,
Yes.
fellow lawyer, Professor George Ojakoya, did not do this?
Let's add the list. Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto. None of them did that. And I challenge them. And that's why today we have asked them, come to court at 3 p.m. Bring copies of your IDs, bring copy of your supporter list. I want a court-sponsored scrutiny. Because after all, nomination is transparent. You know? Election is very transparent.
Yes.
It's supposed to be accountable. So let's do it.
Our political affairs reporter Emmanuel Toe is monitoring these latest developments that pose a new challenge for the IEBC and now joins us live with an update from our city center studios. Emmanuel, what are we learning at this hour?
Well, thank you very much, Trix, and of course to our viewers. It is going to be a heated process beginning from yesterday when that court judgment was given by Anthony Mrima, the judge or the Justice Anthony Mrima of the High Court here in Milimani, Nairobi. And of course, that ruling has had far-reaching consequences, especially for the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, which had already begun the process of printing the ballot papers for all the other positions that have already been cleared to participate in the August 9 election. And of course, this is coming only 33 days to go. And of course, the implication of that, of that ruling, of course, is that the process might need some checking. And of course, perhaps the list of those presidential candidates and other positions are going to continue to increase from the ones that we have as of now. Of course, right now we have 4 presidential candidates, but that number could go higher. But that could also mean the opposite, because apart from there are people who are disqualified for not producing identity card copies of their supporters, but that was just one of the requirements among many, including the requirement for them to produce signatures of their supporters, and that was accompanying the photocopies of identity cards of their supporters. For the president, it was 48,000 signatures, which was 2,000 signatures for 24 counties, which is the majority of the counties to vie for office. And there have been varied interpretations of the law. Remember, our court has just mentioned right now, the Third Way Alliance party leader, that there are varied interpretation of that judgment. And I've spoken to at least 3 lawyers who are high-ranking lawyers in the city. That is, I've spoken to Charles Kanjama and, of course, Bobby Mkangi and others, who say that that ruling was only focused on the copy of IDs and not the signature. So if you did not meet the signature threshold, then that could be another hindrance. But that is subject to the interpretation of the law and, of course, of the court, and we're going to seek that later on in our subsequent bulletins. But as of now, that process is going to have a lot of hiccups, and, of course, we expect that that number might increase. And maybe lastly, for the presidential candidates, I've already mentioned that they're supposed to produce 48,000 signatures of supporters, accompanied by photocopy of IDs of those who are supporting nominating them. But also, we also understand that for the county seats, that is the governor and the MCA, they were supposed to produce 500 signatures of supporters, and of course for the copies of IDs. For the Senate, they were supposed to produce 2,000 ID copies, or of course of their supporters, and of course for the woman rep and member of parliament, 1,000. And so this is a big relief for candidates and or aspirants, but it is also a big headache for IEBC. They have indicated, according to sources that we've spoken to in the IEBC, that they're going to move to the Court of Appeal to appeal this process and have the process continue as it is. But it could go all the way to the Supreme Court for that determination to be made, and the time is also not on the side of the IEBC. So that is the much we have from that area. Maybe that is what we are going to expect going forward from now, Trix.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. So, of course, it's going to be a headache, as you have said, for the IEBC, given that time is of the essence. Now, we shall be keeping a close eye on that. But in the same breath, the independent presidential aspirant, Reuben Kigame, has also protested the decision by the IEBC to lock him out of the August race. He spoke to our reporter, Elvis Koskei, earlier today.
So I'm very grateful that Justice Mrima ruled in favor of many of us independent candidates and those who are maltreated in the just concluded nomination exercise. I do, confirm that as a candidate, I was mistreated, certainly denied the opportunity to even be processed. So my case was a little bit unique because while others' degrees and papers were looked at, signatures were received, mine were not. And so the ruling yesterday is a fair one because it means that it gives me a chance to be considered. I feel that Kenyans were denied an opportunity to get exposed to a different kind of candidate, a candidate that emphasizes values. This is something we've lost in our country. A candidate that is very keen on the dignity of the human person. And as Kenyans, we've been indignified. All these extrajudicial killings, you find bodies dumped in the Yala. We are treated like, people deserving poverty, so much so that you throw up food prices at any time. Nobody is really thinking about the Kenyan. So I would want to reverse that. As somebody who lives in the village, somebody who lives in Wasingishu, somebody who's grown up in Vihiga and Nyanza, I do understand the ordinary person. And so I feel vindicated in a sense that instead of Kenyans being reduced to only 4 candidates who bear the titles of 2 horses and either, the snake venom and cannabis and so on, Kenyans can have a better dialogue, a better discourse. And my discourse is basically this, that we deserve better.
All right, moving on to education, the Kenya National Union of Teachers, NAT, Kenya Union of Post-Primary Teachers, KUPPET, and the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union